Hey guys, it's Erica here with the Child Care Directors Chair podcast, and it's a little noisy here, and it's also a little late. So I want to apologize if you normally tune in the morning and I wasn't there. I hope you missed me. I know I missed you too, but I was on an airplane. So I'm at a conference today. You're going to hear a lot of people walking by. So sorry about that, but I really didn't want the day to go by without an episode dropping. I want to ask you this. What does your day look like when your classroom is also your home? I'm really thinking about that as I'm sitting here surrounded by thousands of family childcare providers. When your business doesn't close because someone calls out, and when you don't have an assistant director to cover lunch, or a maintenance person to fix the broken sink, or any of the things that we are used to in a childcare center, or even honestly, just another teacher to bounce ideas off of. I'll be honest, I spent nearly 3 decades owning and leading childcare centers, and lately I've been thinking a lot about family childcare community. The more I think about it, the more I realize we have so much in common, probably more than we sometimes realize. And today's episode is really just one of those random thoughts that have been bouncing around in my head. I don't have all the answers, but I do have a lot of appreciation for the incredible work that is happening in the family childcare programs across the country. So, welcome back to the Child Care Directors Chair podcast. Again, I'm your host, Erica Sacosio, multi site childcare owner, leadership coach, speaker, and someone who is incredibly passionate about raising voices of everyone in early childhood education. And today is just a little bit different because I'm recording from the road. I'm sitting here in beautiful Chicago at the 36th Annual National Child Care Conference. And what an incredible few days that they have planned. I got in this morning. It's smoky. I don't know where you are, but the fires in Canada have made it all the way to here to Chicago. I think they said the air quality was like 241. It was like hazardous at this point. So we'll all be staying in. But the good news is they have so many fun things planned. And if you're listening to the episode while you're here at the conference, come say hello. And Friday night, I'll be serving as the official MC for the Toast of Quality Awards banquet, and I would absolutely love to meet you. I'll be right outside the Grand Ballroom co-hosting the Best Practices podcast with my trailblazer friend, Annette Eberhardt. If you've never checked out Annette's podcast, head on over to YouTube. She drops a brand new episode every Wednesday. And if you're looking for practical ideas and inspiration, you'll definitely want to add her to your playlist. Now, one of my favorite parts about traveling to the conference is the people I get to meet. Just a couple weeks ago, I had the privilege of attending the Florida Family Child Care Home Association's conference, and I walked away completely inspired. I met so many amazing family childcare owners. We talked about leadership, we talked about business, we talked about licensing, we talked about burnout, we talked about kids, talked about parents. We had more conversations, and the more I thought about it, the more it kept coming back to me. We're all trying to accomplish the same thing. So yeah, so our buildings might look a little different, and our business models might be a little bit different. And our staffing, yeah, that probably looks a little different too. But our hearts, our passion, our purpose, those, my friend, are exactly the same. That experience is what inspired today's conversation. Because I started to ask myself, what would it really be like to own a family childcare program? And what we could, as childcare owners and directors, learn from one another if we simply spent more time listening. So grab your coffee and settle in, and let's have that conversation. Not about what makes us different, but what about brings us together as a profession. So as I've been walking through the conference, I found myself doing something I don't normally do, which is listening more than talking, because we all know I don't shut up. I've been asking questions, I've been watching, I've been thinking, what must it really be like? I mean, 30 years as a center-based childcare owner, I've owned centers, I've led teams, I've coached directors, I built the systems, I've hired, I've trained teachers, I've worried about payroll. I've worried about enrollment and licensing, and I've worried about parents, and I've worried about budgets. I know that world. But I don't know what it feels like to wake up every single morning, unlock the door to my own home, knowing that my business is about to be walking through the front door. That has to be a completely different experience. Think about that for a minute. When I leave one of my centers at the end of the day, work usually stays there, especially if I shut off my phone. Sure, I might bring home some paperwork and I might answer emails or take a phone call, but eventually I walk into my home and I can separate the two. And family childcare owners don't always get that luxury. Your classroom might be your living room, and your background is your playground, and your kitchen becomes part of the learning environment, and your home becomes your business. I honestly don't know how you do it. And maybe that's exactly why I wanted to record this episode. Not because I have all the answers, but because I have a whole lot of respect. So here are the questions that keep running through my mind. I started to think about all the things we don't talk about, like how do you take vacation? Seriously. If you're the center director and someone else needs to step in, right? But we have somebody. But what if you're a family childcare owner? What happens? How do you stay home when you're sick? Who fills in? Who do you call? How do you balance your own children with everyone else's children? And how do you protect family time when your business is literally inside your house? Those questions I've never had to answer. And honestly, I'd love to hear your answers. Then I realized something. The more I listened, the more I realized something. Our problems are different, but the pressure feels exactly the same. Center owners worry about staffing. Family childcare owners worry about being the only staff. Center owners worry about filling classrooms, and family childcare owners worry about filling openings. Center owners worry about payroll, and family childcare owners worry about every dollar coming in because every tuition payment matters. Different business, same responsibility. So, one thing I noticed during the Florida conference is nobody was complaining just to complain. People were sharing ideas. They were helping one another. They were talking through challenges. They were celebrating successes. And I thought, this is exactly what our profession needs more of. Not more competition, not more judgment, but more conversations. Because every time two early childhood professionals sit down together, we all get better. So here's what I admire. Can I tell you what I admire about them the most? It's the courage. Starting a business is scary. Starting a childcare business, even scarier. Starting one inside your home, shit, that's a whole nother level. You're inviting families into your personal space. You're trusting people with your biggest investment. You're building relationships that often last for years. And that takes courage, that takes confidence, and it takes a tremendous amount of heart. As central leaders, I think we can learn something from family childcare. Relationships, that personal touch, knowing every family deeply, and creating environments that feel warm, welcoming, and connected. Sometimes as centers grow, we can become really good at systems, but family childcare reminds us that it's not about systems all of the times. It's not, it's relationships. It's the relationships. Don't lose those relationships while you're building the systems. And maybe it goes both ways. At the same time, maybe there are things we can share too. Leadership coaching, hiring, marketing, financial systems, professional development. Maybe we share our policies or technology or how we build teams. Not because one way is better than another, but because when we share, everybody wins. So my biggest takeaway, what I realized, I've spent years saying we need to raise the profession. This weekend reminded me that raising the profession means raising every voice. Center directors, assistant directors, teachers, owners, coaches, consultants, family child care providers, Head Start, public schools, private schools, faith-based programs. We all belong at the same table because children don't care what sign is hanging up in front of your building. And families don't care what type of program we call ourselves. They care when someone loves their child. And that, my friend, is the common thread. So here's my challenge for you this week. If you're a center director, reach out to a family childcare owner. Buy them a cup of coffee and ask them about their journey. And listen. And if you're a family childcare provider, connect with the center director and ask questions. Share ideas and build relationships. Because I have a feeling we'll all discover we have a lot more in common than we ever imagined. So as I get ready for another day here in Chicago, I'm feeling incredibly grateful for every conversation, every new friendship, and every story that I've heard, every educator that I met, and most of all, grateful for this profession that continues to remind me that there is always something new to learn. So, to every family childcare owner listening today, thank you. Thank you for opening your homes, opening your hearts, and thank you for serving children and families every single day. You've inspired this episode, and you certainly inspired me. And to everyone listening, keep asking questions. Let's stay curious and let's continue learning from one another. Because when we stop assuming and we start listening, that's when real leadership begins. So thank you for spending a bit of your day with me here in Chicago. If you're here, please come introduce yourself. I'd love to meet you at the Toast to Quality Awards Banquet. You can get your tickets up till 10 o'clock tomorrow morning and stop by and see us at the Grand Ballroom. And don't forget to follow my girl, Annette Eberhardt's podcast, Best Practices Podcast on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. That's it for today. Have a great day. Bye.